Today, we're diving into the absolute must-watch new HBO Max dramas you need to see before 2026 hits. I've scoured everything, lost a lot of sleep, and I am ready to spill all the tea. And don't worry, I've got a list with where you can stream every single one of these shows in the first pinned comment. Now, let's get into it, because my brain is absolutely buzzing! First up, imagine you're strapped to a gurney and the entire world is on fire around you. That is exactly what this show feels like. It's a medical drama, but forget everything you think you know about medical dramas. This isn't about doctors having dramatic love affairs in supply closets. And no, this is pure, uncut, white-knuckle anxiety for 15 straight hours. It's set in a single, brutal hospital shift in a post-pandemic world. And it feels so terrifyingly real, you'll want to thank the next nurse you see. The cast is just phenomenal, led by a doctor who looks like he hasn't slept since 2019 and is barely holding it together. He's that guy from ER, Noah Weil. He's fantastic, and the whole show feels like a panic attack you can't look away from. It's so authentic, even real doctors are saying, "Yep, that's it, that's our nightmare." This show is winning all the awards, and it deserves every single one. If you want your heart to pound out of your chest for 15 episodes straight, you have to watch The PITT. Okay, next. Imagine the creator of Mayor of Easttown decided to emotionally torture us again, but this time with Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, you heard me. This is a crime thriller set in those dreary working-class Philly suburbs where everyone looks like they have a secret and a mortgage they can't afford. The whole show has this heavy gray vibe, like it's about to rain but never does. Ruffalo plays an FBI agent who's basically a walking tragedy, and he's hunting this crew of robbers led by a dude who's a sanitation worker by day and the criminal mastermind by night. But here's a twist. The show makes you feel for everyone. You're rooting for the cops, but you're also weirdly understanding of the bad guys. It's a moral mess, and I am so here for it. The tension builds until you feel like you're going to snap. It's all about grief and how it makes people do messed up things. It's dark, it's complicated, and it will live in your head for weeks. You'll be questioning everything. This one is called Task. Now, for something completely different. Picture this. It's the 1960s, the sun is shining, but you know that something ancient and evil is lurking just under the surface, probably in a sewer drain. We are going back to DERRY, Maine, people. Yes, that DERRY. This is the origin story of Pennywise the Clown, and it is so much more than just jump scares. It's a slow burn horror that crawls under your skin. We get to see the town's rotten history, including that infamous black spot fire, and how this cycle of terror just keeps repeating. And get this, Bill Skarsgård is back as Pennywise. That man's smile alone gives me nightmares. But the story also follows this new group of adults who are starting to notice that things in DERRY are off. One of them is a military guy, and he brings this whole other layer of government conspiracy into the mix. Oh, and Dick Hallorann from The Shining is in it. Did you hear that? Hallorann! The worlds are colliding. This show is a must-see for any Stephen King fan. It is it. Welcome to DERRY. All right, let's shift gears to a mystery. Imagine Sherlock Holmes, but he's older, he's kind of a mess, and he's haunted by his past. Then, a sharp, brilliant American girl shows up on his doorstep and says, "Hi, I'm pretty sure you're my dad, and my mom was murdered. Help me." I mean, what a premise! He's forced to team up with this daughter he never knew he had, who is basically a younger, cooler version of himself. Their dynamic is just electric. And of course, Dr. Watson is there, but he and Sherlock aren't exactly on speaking terms. To make matters worse, they're being hunted by the Moriarty family, because of course they are. The whole thing feels classic and modern at the same time. It's got all these brilliant deductions you love, but with this really deep emotional core about family and mental health. It's clever, it's heartfelt, and David Thewlis as a washed-up Sherlock is just genius casting. This is Sherlock and Daughter. Okay, let's take a quick breather. If you're loving these recommendations and want to keep finding your next TV obsession, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It helps me keep the lights on and the streaming subscriptions paid for. Okay, ready for more? Let's go. Next, we're heading to Poland for a spy thriller that is so tense it feels ripped straight from today's headlines. The show is set in this tiny, super strategic strip of land between Poland and Lithuania called the Suwalki Gap. It's basically the one spot where Russia could, in theory, cut off the Baltic states from the rest of NATO. Scary, right? The story follows this badass Polish spy named Eva. She's completely burned out, dealing with some heavy personal stuff, and she just wants out of the spy game for good. But then her partner, who is also her lover and a fellow agent, gets exposed by Russian intelligence and vanishes during a mission. Now she's forced back into the field to find him, plunging her right back into the world of deception, double agents, and hybrid warfare. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, and you can feel the geopolitical tension in every single scene. It's not just action, it's a deep dive into the psychological toll of being a spy. This one is called The Eastern Gate. Okay, now let's fly to Spain for a mystery that feels like True Detective set during Holy Week. The whole show takes place in the small town in Andalusia that's right next to a massive US military base. We have this incredibly atmospheric setting with all the solemn Easter processions, but underneath there's this dark, simmering conspiracy. The story follows two separate investigations that start to collide. On one side, you have this local civil guard sergeant looking into what seems like a suicide but is obviously something more. On the other, you have a US Army agent who shows up at the base to find the missing soldier. The two of them, a Spanish cop and an American agent, are like oil and water, but they're both digging into this town's secrets. It's a total culture clash with the quiet, traditional Spanish town on one side and the secretive, powerful American military base on the other. The vibe is so thick and moody you could cut it with a knife. This is When No One Sees Us. For our next stop, we're traveling back in time to 18th century Paris for some seriously scandalous historical drama. This is the origin story of one of literature's greatest villains, the Marquise de Merteuil, from Liaisons de Jean Gérance. Before she was a master manipulator, she was a young woman who was betrayed and humiliated by the infamous Vicomte de Valmont. But instead of letting it destroy her, she decides to weaponize her pain. She learns to play the game of seduction and power better than anyone, navigating the seedy underworld and the glittering high society of Paris to become the legend we know. It's a feminist revenge story showing how a woman, in a world designed to crush her, claws her way to the top. The costumes are gorgeous, the scandals are juicy, and Diane Kruger plays Valmont's scandalous aunt who basically teaches her everything she knows. It's dark, it's stylish, and it's all about the price of a woman's freedom. This is The Seduction. And finally, we're heading back to Poland for one last dark and twisty family drama. Picture a wealthy family patriarch dying in a remote seaside town, leaving behind a will that is basically a lit match thrown into a puddle of gasoline. He leaves his entire fortune to his granddaughter, completely cutting out his three estranged, deeply messed up adult children. One of them is broke, another's career is in flames, and the third one is missing. As they all descend on this gloomy town to fight over the inheritance, they start to suspect that their missing brother might not be missing at all. He might have been murdered. Suddenly, this family inheritance battle turns into a full-blown murder mystery, and every single family member has a motive. It's a story about greed, betrayal, and the toxic secrets that can tear a family apart from the inside out. The atmosphere is bleak, the characters are all terrible people, you can't help but watch, and the mystery just keeps getting darker. This is The Heritage. Whew, that was a lot, right? My brain is officially fried, but in the best way possible. These shows are absolutely incredible, and I need you all to watch them so we can talk about them. Let me know in the comments which one you're gonna start with first. I am so curious to hear what you guys think. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next TV deep dive. See you next time.